Welcome to Art Kitchen. I'm Mo Golden, and this is part 2 of my interview with Abakis, also known as Abakis. She is an interdisciplinary artist, best known as a musician, and she recently released her first studio album entitled I'm One Too, thanks to a successful Kickstarter campaign. She's toured the U.S. numerous times, and in 2015 was selected to be a fellow of the Dosti Music Residency, an initiative of the U.S. Embassy in Pakistan that brings together musicians from Pakistan, India, and the U.S. Abba is a natural at community organizing. Her shows and events are eclectic, inspiring, and quite diverse. You can find her performing around the Pacific Northwest and connect with her virtually at abakismusic.com. So let's talk about, like, with music, a song, for example, when it is just emerging and it's only yours and it's like a little secret seed. What is that experience like versus once it's shared on an album, you've played it a bunch, people are coming up to you singing lyrics, you know, and it belongs to the world. What is the difference for you between the relationship, you know, between that same song when it's private and when it's not?
Yeah, I like that question. There are definitely songs that I don't even think of as songs. Like, I just think of as like little ditties that I made up about my grandma, you know? And then I'll play them to myself, like just in a room, and someone will be like, who wrote that? Like, is that? I'm like, oh, that's not even really a song. That's like, they're like, no, that's a song, girl. Like, you need to share that. I think technology has definitely changed the way I write songs and how I share them. So like sort of my song process now is to sit down in a room with myself on a computer and a recorder and kind of go back into the way that I just into that sort of free form flow of song and then go back afterwards and write down everything, like listen to myself and write down everything that I've said, and then sort of pick and choose and sort of craft from there. So it really does still start from the like very spontaneous and the very improvisatory, and then it gets crafted. And then like I've tried to share songs that weren't I'm working with a group right now here in town that is like a drummer, bassist, and now 2 vocalists, which is really exciting. But I've found that when I bring something to them incomplete, I'm just like, oh man, I gotta go back and like finish this song so that I can share it with them and like make something solid that I can actually give to them. And so it feels like right now the songwriting process does like now has other people in mind when I'm doing it. And of course there are still like very personal and just like kind of almost like exercises that I do by myself when I'm like getting into music or just like want to be playing my guitar for a little while. But like, yeah, accounting for other people and the collaboration and the responsibility of being the leader of a musical ensemble like is now entering into my like field when I'm thinking about crafting and making songs and making something that's deliverable to people to then expand on, because it just is it just enriches it so much and I feel like the song's not actually like written until, you know, we've all come together and started playing it, because I like other people's creative input to be like, put your stink on it, you know, like I want to work with you because I like your style and I like what you do and I like your creative impulses, and you know, I would love for you to bring your spark to this piece, this song, this whatever.
And so there again, it's like that tricky balance of like creating enough structure and enough you-ness to hold, but then enough space for other people to come in that in a way that it's theirs and not just fitting into your box.
Right. Yeah, and I think that's kind of a trend for me, is like I'll start something, but then I really need people to like come in and fill it in order for it to be like a complete thing. And you know, I don't often, unless it's really like, I don't come in with a vision of the end product. I come in with the beginning and I say, let's do something with this. And so what happens from there is like an organic process that I feel like, you know, I'll definitely have like opinions along the way and still be like the gatekeeper of like decisions. But if somebody has an impulse that I appreciate, I'm not gonna be like, all right, let's stop. And, like, it's like, yeah, that's what this is about. Like, this is about you. And I think where I get into trouble is like, I need to keep bringing it back to the container, like to not let it, go out into infinity and then not bring it back in. I think I'm learning how to bring it back in now, like make recordings of the things that we do and then bring it back to the group and say, no, we solidified this, you created this. And, now we can, just keep sort of weaving in and out between like creation and solidification
and to learn how to facilitate all those phases of the process, not just like jump in and go.
Yes, yeah. It's like, all right, now let's come back to what we did before, and then, if something else happens, great, let's account for that, but let's make a decision about how it's going to go.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
I don't know.
Cool.
Some people might not like the way that happens, but
they ain't your people.
Hi. Yeah.
Do you have, let's see what my question is. I guess my question is just like, how does the role, how does doubt and insecurity play out for you in your work?
Yeah, doubt, insecurity. It's very humbling, and I feel like I don't take the responsibility of asking for other people's time very lightly. And so I feel like I have to make things worth their time to like, and this is, just my own personal, like, stuff maybe, but I think culturally too, it's like, it's hard to ask for things from people, and to ask someone to commit so much time to like your work is a huge ask. So I feel a little like insecure about that, and like maybe there's another way to do it that I'll be like discovering soon. But yeah, and it's hard not to compare yourself to others who are getting all these opportunities and doing all this other great work. So that, but that's also what is inspiring. And it's like, oh, I want to do that stuff. Like, and
yeah, you can find that like hidden wish in the jealousy.
Yeah, exactly. Like, how can I like see through this into an opportunity or like a new goal for myself? And I really think that for me, I guess, the environment will really determine a lot of, how comfortable or not I feel in sharing. And I think that's why I value so much the creation of a really good environment for sharing, because, my music ain't bar music, like I'd like people to be respectful and or at least have a clear understanding about what the expectations are, but
kind of prevent insecurity by actually cultivating an environment that's conducive to your work.
Yes, exactly. Like, and creating that listening environment, creating that sacred space to share, creating that, making people feel welcome and comfortable so that they can relax and receive what I have to give or what others have to give. And that's like, so, yeah, and let's see, insecurity, doubt. Try not to let it get me down.
Doesn't look like it is.
I'm trying, we're all human. Like, is my hair okay? This is gonna be really like, I'm gonna be like, what is going on here later? Like, that's not right. That's not right.
It didn't stop you from doing the interview.
And it didn't stop me from putting this turban on. Let me tell you what, the interview must go on.
So I have one last question.
Okay.
Which is, do you have any suggestions for other people who want to do more with their creativity and have their creative expression and creative process be more a part of their life?
I'm like trying to think about what I would tell myself. create space for yourself, whether that's once a week or once a day or once a month or once a year, to just be and see what comes up. Because I think that's a huge reason why I don't create regularly, is because I don't actually take the time and make the time for myself to do whatever it is I need to do, whether that's draw or make a hat or paint or play guitar or record and do some production work or, ask a friend to come over to sing harmonies. But like, making a space for creation to happen is the first step.
Yeah.
And so whatever comes out after that is up to you, and is whatever needed to come out at that moment. But I would say, be vigilant and make a space for yourself, and keep checking in with what you need to feel like you can express yourself, and whatever environment that is for you, like, keep focusing on that and the feeling that you want to have when you're in that space, and going towards that.
Cool. I really like that, like, to be and to see what comes up, because I think like you're saying, being vigilant, like, the creative process is this like tricky sweet spot of like, it's not passive, it's very active. You're actively allowing and being. So it isn't like just lay down and go to sleep, but it isn't like, okay, what's coming up? But to like, just to like let things.
Or maybe even like in that space, you are in that mode of like, okay, let's do this, and then use that, like, use that energy of like whatever it is that you're, feeling in that moment, like whether or not that's like very, forceful, or whether it's like languid and sort of more smooth and open, like, but just having that space to do whatever it is that you need to do. But I don't know, it's a luxury. It was that book with the woman who's like, in order to write, you need a room and you need money, or something like that. It's definitely pretty high on Maslow's like needs.
Right. Like a little cherry on top of the pyramid.
But for some of us, if if it's part of your health program, it's like taking your vitamins. Like, you have to make time to create, or go on a walk, or write, or whatever it is that you need to do, or talk to a friend.
And if it's moved into that category, you're more likely to do it too. If it isn't seen as like a trip to Hawaii, it's seen as taking your vitamins.
And I think that's a big part of why our culture is so distorted about this whole, like, and doesn't automatically recognize the creative, like, whatever the creative process is, as being a part of a healthy society. And I know for myself personally, like, that's a huge part of my well-being, is to be able to share and create and and to make structure, and to bring art to the world, and to create spaces for people to express themselves, and to really put on a pedestal those who I believe in, and those who I love, like, whose work I love and appreciate, and that I benefit from it being in the world. Because we're champions. And
and we look good on a pedestal. Well, thank you so much for talking with me about your stuff.
Sure. Thanks for doing this project. I can't wait to see what it turns it into.
Yeah, I'm excited about it.
Everybody, donate, love it, share it, like it, email your grandma.
Thanks, Abba. The end. And that's another awesome Art Kitchen interview. Love it. So like it, share it on social media so your friends can also enjoy, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/MoGoldenVideos. That way you won't miss a thing. And if you want to join the other generous patrons who keep this project afloat, make your pledge at patreon.com/Mo. You'll get some cool rewards and connect with an amazing community too.